You had referred earlier to the idea of a social business, and you explained how that differs from a conventional business. And one example of that is Grameen Danone Foods. What I find really remarkable is that you are able to produce Power yogurt or Shakti Doi for 5 cents for an 80-gram cup. Can you explain how the economics of that works and whether that model is scalable?
Yes, very much, because it's a business. That's what the whole idea is. Should be running on business principles, that you have to cover your cost and generate some surplus so that the business can keep running. But the idea of social business is investors have invested the money not for the benefit of their own. It is invested to achieve a social objective. In this case of Grameen Danone, objective is to bring nutrition to the malnourished children. What we have done, we put all the macronutrients which are missing in the children in the yogurt and make it very tasty. Children love it. They pay that 5 cents to buy a cup. And if a child eats 2 cups a week and continues to do so for 8 to 9 months, he or she gets all the macronutrients back and become a healthy, playful child. So that is the objective of the company. So that is how it is done. And others, it's a question of how much it costs, milk costs, how much processing cost, equipments and distribution cost, and so on. Once you are in social business, lots of costs go down because you don't need to incur those costs. For example, you don't need any elaborate or fancy marketing, because as long as people know what you're doing and they're interested in it, they buy. So you don't have to go on television or newspaper. We are here and life is meaningless without eating Shakti Doi. We don't say that. We explain what it is as people come, and gradually it spreads. And that's it. So the marketing cost goes down. And we have, in our design, we made it sure that the extra costs are cut off, trimmed off. For example, we made it a very small plant so that you don't produce too much. Around your own plant, there's enough consumers to buy it rather than go at a long distance. The idea is to cut down the cost of cold chain. If you are producing in a big plant, you have to carry all this to long distances, and you need cold chain. And cold chain is a very expensive item. So we reduced that. We eliminated that. So our idea is to have many, many, many small plants all around the country so that you reach out to everybody. This is number 1 plant, which is already operating. Then we are getting ready for the number 2 plant. We want to have about 50 plants to cover all the children in Bangladesh. And each one is self-contained. Each one makes money. It will cover the cost and so on. Sometimes you get to difficulties, like suddenly during the food crisis last year, the milk prices jumped. We couldn't maintain that price tag that we had on the product. So we are wondering what we should do. We came up with many kinds of alternatives to keep the prices down at the same time without losing the macronutrients and so on. So quickly we came out with the Shakti drink, so that the milk becomes less, other elements becomes more, water and other things, but keeping that and have a good taste for it, keeping the price low as before. But we are lucky, milk prices went down again, we continued and so on. So we have to cope with those kind of fluctuations without losing the whole focus of the company.
In addition to Grameen Danone and Intel, and I think you have a relationship also with BASF for anti-malarial nets. Do you have any joint ventures or partnerships with other companies in the works?
Yeah, many companies are coming up with ideas to work with us for social businesses, and we're giving them ideas. One already is in operation as a very important social business that we have right now, is a Grameen Veolia. Veolia is the water company. It's a French water company, one of the largest water company in the world. Many of the US cities are served by Veolia for their water. So this giant company, we persuaded them to create a tiny little water treatment plant in the villages of Bangladesh to serve 50,000 people in the village. Because our problem is a big problem in Bangladesh with arsenic in our water. Very high level of poison in the water. and millions of Bangladeshis, almost half the population of Bangladesh. Bangladesh has a total of 150 million people, so half the population is 75 million. They drink water with high level of arsenic. So we are putting up this company to supply clean, Veolia quality water to every household in the village, and they will be paying for it, very small amount. Nobody will mind paying for that. And it will cover all its cost, and it will become a social business. Veolia is not there to make money out of it, but the fact that people are drinking poison every day, now we can do this. We can overcome that. Nothing is happening through any other program. So we said, let's move on and do that. So this becomes another example of social business. And once you can do that successfully for 50,000 people in the village, you have developed a seed. Then all you need to do is to plant the seed in other places, because each one is self-contained. So you can do as many as you want and cover all the people. So development of the seed is the most important thing in social business. Like Grameen Danone is a seed. Now you can take it anywhere, any country. We have been already approached by India, we have been approached by China. They would like to have Grameen Danone in China, in India, and so on, because they have the same problem. Malnutrition is a very common problem. So if this one works, and health authorities are saying that yes, this is a big problem, and this works, and we have invited GAIN, Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, which is a big NGO based in Geneva, concentrates on the monitoring of the nutrition situation globally, to monitor whether this is really true, whether this is just a gimmick that we do or is a real. Are the children benefiting and the nutrition level is increasing and so on. So you have the Grameen Danone and you have the Grameen Veolia, Grameen Intel, and there are some in the pipeline and very interesting programs, like one shoe company, very big shoe company. They approached us, what can we do? I said, well, one, I would say you have a theme, and the theme would be, or a motto would be, nobody in the world should go without shoes. As a shoe company, it is our responsibility to make sure to do that. So you come up with shoes that the poorest people can afford. And it's a good quality with your brand name, so that it's not a second-class, third-class thing. So you take the ownership of that shoe and make it very cheap. They liked that idea. Then I suggested, why don't you start with making shoes for under $1? So you cover the people who never be able to use that brand name shoes in their lifetime ever. But now everybody will be doing that and so on. So there are many in the pipeline. BASF is one already. We signed agreement. We'll do the mosquito nets, treated mosquito net, and also nutrition sachet for pregnant women and malnourished women, because women nutrition is again another area where it's not as satisfactory as one would like to be. So this company will be producing that and make it possible for everybody to afford that nutrition. At the same time, while we are having this nutrition supplement, we'll be focusing on the diet itself, because it's not forgetting about the diet and just go into the artificially taking the nutrients inside the body. So we'll be also encouraging them to have right kind of food as they go on.